Spoilers of the Damned.
Hello and welcome to Spoilers of the Damned, episode number 13. Today we are talking about the film Insidious. So this is your one and only spoiler warning. We will ruin the heck out of Insidious.
Yes.
So, and I think I'm probably jumping the gun a little bit, but I think you guys hopefully enjoyed it.
Oh, yes.
So we will say it's a good time and you deserve to have it, enjoy it, keep it, love it forever.
He will say that. He will say that.
Oh, okay. Well, we're taking a controversial stance on this movie, but either way, you should definitely check it out for yourself before you have it ruined. So,
Oh, definitely.
yes, guys, how are you?
Tired, but I'm surviving.
Yes, you're talking about very strong coffee a couple of moments ago.
Oh, I'm still drinking it, yeah. I might have to get more soon. I don't know. Depends how long I last. If you hear a loud crashing noise, it's just that I've slumped over on my computer desk. And, you know.
That'd be awesome.
It's okay.
High chance.
Loud crashing noises followed by minutes of silence makes for a good podcast.
Just leave that, submit that, and then never post again.
Yeah.
People will be like,
Yes,
what happened
we-
to the Spoilers of the
We can
Damned
become
podcast?
creepy internet pasta,
Yes.
like Lasagna Cat.
And
Yes.
never died.
And then like several years later, we'll just post another podcast without explaining what happened.
But
Yeah,
John was
where
zombie.
everything's fine.
But John was zombie.
Yeah. No, it's been a busy time for me. Just a lot of overtime at work and struggling to play some Final Fantasy XIV Stormblood expansion amongst some Command and Conquer too. Actually, not the second
nice.
one. I mean, as well. Also, Command and Conquer. That's what I meant to say.
Nice.
The old one, the very first one,
The very first, Jesus.
the very very first one, the progenitor. It's actually an interesting time though. Like Command and Conquer, because I mean, if anyone's listened to the podcast before, if anyone has, they would know that I played StarCraft and Warcraft and started playing real-time strategy games and playing Homeworld and just really getting into that genre. So I decided to go back to the roots, which is Command and Conquer. This is the first RTS I actually played. I went, it's a funny short story. I went to a friend's house and saw it for the first time because he had a computer that could run it at the time. It was a beast. I was like, oh my god, those little men are moving around. It looks so animated, so cool. But then like his game crashed, and this was back in like Windows 95, and it said there was an illegal error, crash. And I didn't know anything at the time. So when I saw illegal, I was like, shit, the cops!
Busted.
Because this was a guy who used to crack games and just like, put them on spare CD-ROMs, and I thought, fuck, we're busted, the cops are coming. We have been conquered in Command and Conquer. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. It's a funny little story there.
Which number is Red Alert? Is that like 2 or 3?
I don't even know,
That's the only one I've played.
I went on Amazon, and this isn't like an advertisement or whatever, but I went on Amazon and I wanted
No,
to just...
definitely not to like give us money. But carry on.
Right, not to give us money. I wanted to just buy Command and Conquer. I didn't want the whole everything. The only way you can get Command and Conquer is if you get the whole everything. So I bought the $20 17 game pack, and yeah, I was like, fuck, that's a lot of games. But for $20, I was like, that's almost that's a little over a dollar a game. Yeah, so I mean that's affordable. But then I was like, wait a minute, what's this? $15 for the same thing if I buy it physical. The $20 one is for digital. Well, I'll get the box then. Sure, that'll be cool to have a big old pile of CDs with Command and Conquer stuff, and that'd be great. In fact, I'd love to own that now. For $15, less than $1 a game, I'm sold. That's the perfect price. So I bought it.
Stock?
No. That's not how this story ends.
Oh, good. No, it's a happy ending.
Yeah, I bought it, and it came like in a few days, and I got the box, and it's a very thin, slim plastic case with nothing in it but a download code.
Oh, that's how this story ends.
Yeah, a download code, which takes me to Origin, which is EA's little Steam app thing. And then I have to go through Origin, set up an account, use the download code, and then download all of the games from them exclusively. And I don't actually have any discs at all, which is like no fun whatsoever.
Yeah, no, that is... I hate things like that.
Yeah.
And I've not bought it, mainly because I'm not really... Although I am kind of at the point where I'm desperately kind of going, please, I need some kind of game for my Switch other than Zelda, so I might buy something else. But the Lego one, I heard was literally it's just like they bought carts that are too small to hold the game on purpose because they're cheaper, and so you have to download pretty much the whole game onto your Switch, which depending on the card you've got in it, doesn't have an awful lot of space. So I hate things like that.
Wow. I would just
if you're gonna buy something physical, just make it physical. It's like when I saw that season 3 of The Walking Dead, Telltale's The Walking Dead. By the way, to sum it up really quickly, it was good. It was more of the same. But when I saw that the physical release of that was going to come out before the final episode had was available for download or even finished, I kind of thought, okay, this is going to be a disc that you pop in, and then Microsoft says, do you want to install this 30 gig patch?
Yeah, patch.
Quote unquote patch. That So yeah, it kind of ruins it for me because, when the internet is gone and we're all living in caves and we're rubbing stones together just to get enough electricity to power on the Xbox, we're only going to be able to play physical games, and there are not a lot of those that don't require some fucking massive downloads. So
yeah,
I think at the end of the day, we're just going to have to play with the rocks or something. I don't see how this is going to work.
Throw them at each other.
Yeah.
Like a real-time first-person shooter, but with rocks.
Yeah, and in single player, you just have to stand close enough to the wall so that when you throw the rocks at the wall, they hit you back.
Perfect.
Yeah.
But to answer your question,
solo campaign. Ow. Ow.
To answer your question about Red Alert, I don't know where it fits in the series. There is a Command & Conquer 1 and 2 and 3. There's a Red Alert 1 and 2 and 3, I think.
Yeah.
And then there's a Renegade, and then there's...
I remember 3 coming out fairly recently. This is just proof how old I'm getting now, where things happened 10 years ago, and I think they were recently.
Yeah.
But it wasn't too far away, was it? Titled number 3 in the series. I think it was like 5 or 10 years ago max.
Oh, shit, now I gotta look that up, because I thought that I know that EA bought Westwood being the creators of Command & Conquer, and I thought the last game that came out was Tiberian Sun, which I thought it was weird because, like, in Command & Conquer, your resource that you gather is called Tiberium with an M. So I don't know why there'd be a game called Tiberian Sun, since it seems to be like it's a thing in the game. It's Tiberium. So I wonder, like, EA bought Westwood, and they're like, okay, guys, make Tiberian Sun. And they're like, oh, sir, it's Tiberium. Fuck you, it's Tiberian.
The sun is made of Tiberium.
Yeah, or something, And then they slap it on the box, and then they get fired because it's fucking EA, and they just, like, shot Westwood in the face, took what little they had left, and carried it off to do what they were going to do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an actual horror story for you, I guess. Command Conquer. Okay, let's see. Red Alert series, 1996, alternate universe. Command & Conquer.
Oh, alternate universe.
Uh-huh. So it's a side shot thing, I guess.
Is it like... I hate to sound racist. I'm probably going to sound racist. But
whatever.
It is something to do with Russians, right? So what, is it like an alternate version where the Russians won or something?
Yeah, it's something like that.
And the sun is made out of a precious resource?
Yeah, sure. Racist. I don't know. I don't know how to take that. But
I'm so
Command &
scared
Conquer...
that's the true horror these days, is saying something like offensive by accident and then having to backpedal with 100 apologies that no one thinks are sincere because you're sat there the whole time going, what the fuck did I do wrong?
Yeah, exactly.
So...
No, I do not care at all about that stuff, because really it's their problem and not ours when we just use words to communicate correctly and effectively. I'm not worried about offending anybody, because it's just like, hey, exactly, fuck them. Because it's like I said, it's their problem. They're the one who are offended. I'm not offended. They're offended. let them be offended, and if it's going to come down to a fight, well, that's also going to be their problem because they're going to go to a hospital. But the true answer to this question, which had a very weird path, Red Alert is Command and Conquer 2, just not labeled as such. It was the second Command and Conquer game.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, because I remember it being fairly basic, so it must have been not long after the first one.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I do want to get into playing more old stuff. I saw that this goes to show how much you were talking before, Chris, a couple of podcasts ago about having too many games to complete and not being able to buy new ones because there's just a stupid backlog. Well, I had an email from GOG the other day that said Realms of the Haunting is now only like 95p or something stupid. So I went on there thinking, Realms of the Haunting, that's a game on my list that I want to cover eventually. It's like one of those old kind of FMV puzzle horror games for the PC. Went to buy it, and it said, do you want to buy this as a gift? Because I already fucking own it.
Yeah.
So I was like, I guess I don't get to buy it for 95p because I already bought it.
Probably bought it for more, too.
Yep, probably did. So I need to actually get on there and start playing some of this old shit that I've bought because otherwise I'll try and buy it multiple times.
Yeah. I'm just going to throw this out here. Super great friend actually covered Realms of the Haunting. Not like covered it like a documentary, but he did a Let's Play of it that was really complete. And I do recommend, if anyone was curious, to check that out because he does a really great job on it. So I know all about
cool.
Realms of the Haunting, and I think it's interesting, but it's also, I wouldn't think it's fun to play in any way, shape, or form. Not at all. It looks terrible. So the fact that he did it so professionally just earned some heaps of respect from me.
Oh, fair enough.
So,
how about you, Matt?
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Are you okay, buddy? Are you
I'm
Your
falling
face
asleep.
down in the
This is all
coffee.
It's like, I need more coffee in my face. No, I'm good. I'm good. No, I've in terms of what I've been doing this week, I was trying to think beforehand about anything like horror related. Couldn't really think of anything except having to carry around a camera and camera equipment in the city of London when it was like 33 degrees.
Yeah. How
That's
was
so
that?
funny to me.
We were talking about that. I think we were podcasting the day before you were going to do that for the Twin Peaks podcast.
Yeah, it was. It was horrible. It was absolutely
See, the funny thing
horrible.
about UK weather is now a couple of days later and it's like 12 degrees outside.
Yeah, it's mental. It's been like the sun's barely been out today. It's crazy.
Real quick,
crazy.
I'd like to interject for the American audience. 33 degrees is actually 91.4 Fahrenheit, so that's hot.
Nice.
But
That's
to
a good point,
me,
actually, yes.
to me, it sounds like 33 degrees. Where's your coat?
And no wonder you didn't enjoy it. You're only wearing a shirt and shorts.
I'm freezing.
Stupid idea. So yeah, that was I had to do it for 2 days in a row. That was horrifying. Absolutely horrifying.
I've been living off the cold drinks at the moment, basically. Yeah. Sort of like, we managed to, when we finally got into this place, we decided we were going to spend the money and get a fucking fuck-off massive refrigerator, like an American refrigerator.
Yeah.
And it
You're
plumbs
welcome.
into the water. Yeah, you guys make fucking quality refrigerators. I'm not even joking. They're like tombs, like coffins of meat that are just perfect. But I've got a little doohickey on the front where you can put your glass and get like freezing cold water almost. It's not freezing because then like ice cubes would come out. But no, the freezer does have an ice cube maker as well. Mm-hmm. So occasionally you just walk into the kitchen and then you hear like clunk, 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 and you're like, oh hey, the fridge is like shitting itself again.
For her
Making
enjoyment.
those cubes.
Fridge is doing that weird thing again.
It's I love my fridge.
So what? Explain to me, because I don't actually know. I didn't realize you guys didn't have fridges like that. What did you have before?
Before it was just kind of like a basic cupboard that is cold, but now it's like it's got 2 doors. It opens out. It's taller than I am, and I'm fairly tall. I'm 6'1", so like it's taller than me, and there's not. As you get older, and you do get taller if you happen to be fortunate and you're a tall person, like you start to see on the tops of things, and obviously you put things on the tops of things, and then things get kind of like left up there.
Yeah.
Like on top of a wardrobe or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But our fridge is just so tall. We can't even put much stuff on it myself. So it's all nice and clean. It's nice and sleek. It's like purely. It looks like the monolith out of 2001, except it opens and it makes water and ice.
And there's food inside.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
That's my favorite part.
It is my favorite thing. It's one of the few things in the house we decided not to skimp on. So
yeah.
And,
I
in
definitely
the summer,
agree
we're
with
grateful.
that. Sorry, I didn't mean to run over you. I definitely agree with that, though. My grandfather had a fucking chest, a freezer chest. Like, it was big enough to put, like, 3 bodies in, probably.
Nice.
Yeah, and we got it when he passed away, and we've been using it for years. Like, it's an old freezer, but it's been just kicking for decades. And it's just awesome to just fill that with meat and know that, hey, if shit hits the fan, we got all the meat. We got it all right here.
Oh, man, we've been naughty because we've been... I don't know if you guys have calippos over there, but calippos in this country are kind of like they're just a thing. Yeah, they're the best ice pop, basically. They're wonderful. And the problem is, they're kind of like an ice lolly. They're orange flavour.
They taste as shit.
But they're very good. And kind of been going to the shop to buy them and just like hoarding, like... I suppose you can buy, if you go to the right supermarket, you can buy a box full of them and not look like a weirdo, but because our nearest supermarket doesn't have the boxes of Calippos, we've had to go to the corner shop and buy 15, 20 at a time and bring them home and put them in our massive freezer. Wow. So we just look really strange. It's like most people, it's a bit hot. They walk in, they pick up an ice cream, maybe 2 ice creams. We just walk in, we get the basket, open the ice cream chest and start filling it up.
Calippos. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's like a I don't want to say like a push pop or something, but that's the closest thing I can come up with. But yeah, it's sort of a creamy thing, right? Instead of an ice cream
not
thing?
Creamy. It's more like fruity, juicy thing.
Okay.
Yeah. If you're going for ice creamy, then probably Cornetto.
Yeah. We don't have Cornettos. We have Nutty Buddies, but yeah, those are the best.
Oh, Cornetto. Oh, it's so good. I could do with Cornetto right now. Fuck.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Sorry, but we've used up all the Calippos.
No, they're all gone.
And because it's not hot, I'm tempted to go, look, let's just not go and buy any more. But then our freezer's so big, we could probably have Calippos for next year. And then eat those before next year. So I don't know.
Wow.
But yeah, the weather has been an issue of supreme horror in this country this week. It's been very hot.
It's been absolute bastard is what it's been.
Oh yeah, I know. I mean, I work in a hot factory, so it's been. I'm not saying we're not in the same country, but it has been hot, like just constant soaking sweat. Everything I have is crusty with salt. Gross, hot, sweaty. Yeah, it's just been disgusting.
You have my sympathy because we have it so rarely. When it does happen, it just kind of probably your average day reduces most of us to puddles. So
yeah, it's kind of funny. Oh, sorry, Matt. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think it's the humidity as well. I was out on I was out Friday night and I heard a guy from Australia talking, and he was like, he said people keep coming up to me and saying, oh, this must be like this can't be that warm for you, and he's like, you don't understand that it's not just the heat, it's your fucking humidity.
Yeah, that's the thing. We don't get dry heat at all.
Yeah,
it's muggy.
Yeah, it's muggy, horrible, and it was just sticky and gross. I mean, it was even worse actually. That same evening yesterday morning as well, because me and my girlfriend stayed in London. We stayed in the Premier Inn, but their AC had broken.
Oh boy!
And the room was just like a furnace. It was like being in a sauna.
I had to get new glasses this weekend, and we went into Specsavers, and I can tell you, Specsavers AC is on point. It was perfect.
Nice.
Do you have ice crystals on your glasses?
Kinda, a little bit. This reference won't make sense to you, Chris, until you watch Twin Peaks, which you will, and you will enjoy it. But basically, the way Dale Cooper's been acting in this past season is the way I was kind of standing under this air conditioner, just looking like I'm kind of 3 years old in my head, just going, ooh, it's cold.
Cool. How?
Cold.
It's funny though. Like when I was in the Philippines last time, speaking about me having to deal with hot stuff all the time, I was in the Philippines and like Riz and I were walking around in the hot sun, and I had no problem, no sweat, nothing. I'm wearing a hat. I'm wearing like 2 shirts, shorts. I'm still wearing sandals because in the Philippines you just wear sandals. That's what you do. You don't wear anything else. And she's like, "Oh God, it's so hot." And I'm like, "What? This is like nothing to me. I'm
nothing.
a fire elemental." So I felt pretty good about that because like she sometimes posts about the weather and it's like, "Oh, it's so hot. People are sweating." I'm like, "I've been there. It ain't that bad."
Get on my level.
Yeah, right.
That's how I feel when it's hot here. I think, well, actually, to be fair, this is probably like, I don't know, a normal day for Chris. So you do have my sympathies.
Yeah, exactly. We do have these. Oh man, we have these really cool headbands. Well, headbands are really cool by default. Don't argue that.
Yep.
Yep. They're like cooling headbands. They have like a material inside that actually retain the temperature of the water you put into it, and you let it soak for like 10 minutes, and you slap it on your head, tie it around your head like you're gonna go Rambo style, and it just stays cool for days. It's awesome. I just got one yesterday, and I was like, "This is like magic. This is incredible." And I mean, I look like a thug because I have my headband on and I have my safety helmet, but it's actually like a ball cap with a plastic liner and some foam, so I don't bump my head on things and like hurt myself. It's just for me. It's not for anyone else. And it's like off to the side. That's not true. It's for everyone. It's off to the side though. And it just looks stupid. But I don't know what I look like because there's no mirrors where I'm working. So I'm just like walking around like I just started a rap group yesterday or something like that. So.
Oh, you're 2 types of cool. I like it.
All at once.
But I mean, the one thing I was going to talk about this week, which has nothing to do with horror whatsoever, I just wanted to get in, how much I love him since I discovered him, is I've been sitting under the fans, basically, trying to avoid the hot weather and watching LGR.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, so I've sort of watched a couple of his videos here and there, but this week, or this last 2 weeks especially, I've kind of watched nearly everything on his channel. I've watched all of his thrifting videos. Today I watched him put together a Lego computer for about 50 minutes while I was doing work, sort of alongside it. So yeah, anybody who hasn't heard of LGR, I mean, to be honest, it's kind of weird me recommending him because I'm just one person who maybe 3 people listen to. But yeah, his stuff is very good.
Well, there are 3 people here.
So
definitely 3 of us listen to you.
You're all familiar with LGR.
Yeah, I followed him for a while. I started for anyone else, LGR stands for Lazy Game Reviews, and I think that's what he started out doing. I haven't really looked at his backlog or anything like that, but it just got to the point where he just started doing normal like videos about life and stuff, blogging, thrifting, computer stuff that he was really interested in. And I haven't really met or seen anyone who's like really that interested in old IBM PCs ever, really.
Yeah.
He just spends a lot of time and effort maintaining and repairing and cleaning and controlling this collection he has in a storage unit. And to me, it's like a complete waste of time, except that it's got nostalgia. But I would never spend my time doing those things. It doesn't make any sense. But it is cool to see because, like, I had questions when I was a kid, like the lock on a CPU. Like, you actually had a key to turn on the computer so you could lock it while you're away. That was something I never used, and you never see it on computers nowadays because it doesn't make any sense. But back then, it was like a big deal security thing, and he did a special on that. And I thought it was really cool to watch. I was like, oh yeah, I do remember those things. Wow, people were taking security really seriously back then. So, yeah. Anyway, I recommend him as well. LGR is a good time to watch.
Yeah. I didn't even... This just goes to show, when I was a kid, we had a computer that was nowhere near the internet, and then by the time it was on the internet, sort of the things that already kind of exist now existed, like basic web pages and stuff. I never saw the stuff that came before that. Oh. So he was doing a particular episode where he was showing all about kind of like BBSs and stuff like that, which was all completely new to me. It was a world I didn't even know existed. So
yeah.
it's really cool to see all that kind of like old school kind of ASCII art mixed with kind of like greens and those neon colors you get on kind of old monitors and stuff.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
It was like the old internet before the internet actually connected with itself. You sort of like, my buddy runs a BBS down the street. Here's his address. You do that, and whatever he puts on the BBS, you have access to. And then you hear about somebody else who has a BBS down the road, and that's just how you did things. It's really interesting.
That's cool.
So,
yeah. Oh, and I've been watching Fear the Walking Dead, which is basically a sort of subpar spin-off of the original series.
Yeah, I've heard that it's just it's average. It's what a lot of people seem to say.
Yeah, it's been very up and down. See, it's just started its third season. Now, season 1 started off, I think, quite strongly. It introduced completely different new set of characters that had pretty much nothing to do with the original kind of, the style of characters. You know how in Walking Dead we kind of complain, Matt, about people walking around going, things ain't how they used to be, and that kind of thing. These people don't really kind of, I suppose they haven't had time to get to that level, but they feel more real, like more realistically written. They don't walk around soliloquizing or however you say that fucking word.
Do you remember back in the old times when we had electricity and the internet? Yeah, it's only been like a year, mate. What the fuck are you talking about?
And BBS boards, but yeah. The first season started off really strongly, good characters, interesting, and it was showing the kind of the pre-apocalypse, and then they made the really stupid decision to skip ahead 6 weeks.
What?
And cut out a whole load of stuff, basically. Like, they basically were living in their house in Los Angeles. They tried to get out of Los Angeles and failed, and returned to their house, where the military were kind of posted like a quarantine zone. So basically then they skipped ahead 6 weeks. So everyone in the surrounding area was gone and there were zombies everywhere. And it was just really annoying that they kind of... The whole point of the series, I think, was to kind of show the beginnings of it all, and they kind of skipped over it completely.
That's what I thought. It'd be like if in like Dawn of the Dead, it starts out at the when they're in the apartment complex, when they're still with the police. And all of a sudden it just goes so many months later, and it's like at the end where they're attacking and being attacked by the biker gang. Like, we missed stuff, and also we have The Walking Dead for that shit. The Fear of the Walking Dead is shit. Like, when I saw the trailers for it, it was promoted like it was see what happened at the beginning. Ooh.
Yeah, and it did start out with such promise in that regard. I mean, if you compare it to the newer kind of Dawn of the Dead remake, it would be going from that woman, her husband turns on her and gets bitten and goes rah. She runs outside, cuts to everyone together in the mall, like sort of having been there a week or 2 weeks. It's just bizarre. But anyway, well, season 2, I feel like they really redeemed themselves, because season 2 kind of, as I said before, they were in Los Angeles, so they get a boat and they go down through to Mexico. And they cross the border, so that it's kind of got this whole kind of Mexican vibe to it. There are groups of survivors who are all speaking kind of Spanish, and it's definitely a different kind of flavor to that kind of East Coast original series Walking Dead. Which I really enjoyed. And season 2 kind of picked up, and the characters developed and evolved, and you feel really good about them. Then season 3's come along, and they basically killed my favorite character in 2 episodes. Like 2 episodes in, my favorite character got killed, and it was really good. In one regard, it was a really good death, because it came out of nowhere. It was completely random, and sometimes with these shows, they build up, and that you go, oh, a character won't die until the mid-season finale or something like that. They're too scared to kill them off. So it was really good that this character kind of died a random, stupid, pointless death. That does kind of fit into the style of The Walking Dead, but the problem is, it was my favourite character. It was this guy who has gone through a shit ton. I mean, if you guys don't care about spoilers, basically his son got killed by people who, he knew were bad for him, but his son decided to go off with those people instead of him. And so he later runs into those same people, and they go, oh, there was nothing we could do. He was too injured or whatever. And while they're saying that, it cuts to like what actually happened, where these guys just decided to kill his son, because his son was just kind of he wasn't even too far gone. They just decided, bam, kill him, get rid of him. So anyway, this guy the father, the character that I like, he brutally kills these people with his bare hands. I mean, like, it's so radical. The whole time I was watching, basically, the short story basically of the premise is that they were in a place where you're not allowed to kill people because that was the kind of the rules, and these people came along and came in, and then he found out that, you know, he recognized them and he knew that his son was with them, and he asked them what happened, and they said, oh, you know, he had an accident, he was too far gone, we had to get rid of him, I'm sorry. So they kind of, it looks like he's about to start off, and then he kind of takes a big breath and he goes, okay, you know, this is what happens, it's okay. Everyone turns around to leave the room, and then he locks the door behind them and stays in the room and breaks them with his hands, and it's so cool. And then this guy, and this guy then in season 3, episode 1, he decides to kind of goad these people into trying to kill him instead of his, I guess his, what is it called when it's... stepson, his stepson's girlfriend, who he's never met before until this very moment. He decides, I'll sacrifice myself for her. So it's like, this guy is like the nuts, and then he just gets shot and falls out of a helicopter, and it's over in 5 minutes, and you're like, oh man, why? If you had to prove you had the balls to kill characters, why don't you just kill someone we don't like? There's plenty of people in Fear the Walking Dead who are kind of a bit meh.
Yeah, just pointless.
Just kill them.
That's the problem. I think the main show has as well. Is that it did initially? Is that a lot of the side characters felt very Actually, no. It does still feel like that. Actually, a lot of the side characters in particular just disposable. Yeah,
they float on. They stay around for a while and then they go.
Yeah, and
but there's kind of the core that remains untouched mostly.
Yeah, it's like then you just get that moment all of a sudden when the side characters suddenly has an episode that is completely involving them, like it's very centric to them. It's like, gee, I'm just gonna fucking die.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I died. Oh no, I got bitten by a zombie. I'm going to leave my arm hanging out here so you can eat it. Like, I'm not going to struggle. But yeah, I mean,
the curse of character development.
Yeah, no, I'm getting character development. I'm getting plot. No.
Don't make me relatable and human. I'm going to die.
That's like a little in joke at LARP as well sometimes, and someone's like, oh god, I got involved in plot. Oh shit. So it's a shame that it's a bit rocky, so to speak. I think that's the best way to put it. It sounds like it's a bit rocky.
There are elements of it I really like, and there are elements of it I really don't like, and it kind of meanders this path between being awesome and then not being awesome. And at the moment, it's kind of it's okay. They're kind of in this place. The main survivors are in this place where it's basically a load of preppers. They decided that the end of the world was going to happen, so they built a place, and it's kind of like a village with stores and everything else. So but the guy who runs it is kind of like this guy who's an alcoholic and doesn't have control over his son, and his son is kind of like, I guess, your classic what's the guy's name from Psycho? Norman Bates. He's basically just like your classic Norman Bates ripoff. So it's kind of cool. You know, they have preppers, and you don't see many of those in the original series. But you've also got this kind of derivative kind of psychos who, oh yeah, okay, he's the psychopath for this season. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I had originally heard about Fear the Walking Dead, just as an aside, was that it was really slow and boring to watch and nobody liked it, which is probably why they jumped ahead 6 months in the show to try and salvage what was going on with the overall general opinion of the show itself. Maybe not what everyone had, obviously, but some people were like, this is stupid, where are my zombies at?
I want my gore.
Yeah. I said
that makes a lot of sense,
zombies!
actually, because season 2 is quite slow, and then it picks up like a lot. That scene I told you about where he kills those people with his bare hands is kind of towards the end of the season, and they're really on a roll. So when season 3 was announced, and obviously they're going to make this until it doesn't make any more money, which will be a long time.
Yep.
Gotta keep that zombie train going.
Fucking zombies.
Keep that zombie train shambling.
Yeah.
Lurking, walking. Just dragging along until it finally dies. I don't know where I'm going with that.
Until it ceases to exist.
Until it becomes the earth itself.
Oh my god, you're veering from Fear the Walking Dead territory into The Walking Dead territory.
Yeah. Well, I guess after
What
the
is a man,
apocalypse-
Rick?
I guess after
What are we?
I
We're
guess
the
after-
Walking Dead.
Ah! Kept interrupting
Oh, shit.
me. That's not worth it now. I'm not gonna say it.
Oh, my brain's mush.
That's how it goes now. You interrupt people. Can't go back. We can't go back, Carl.
Yeah, you can't restate the joke. It doesn't make sense now.
You ruined the joke, Carl.
Coral.
Carl.
Boy.
Yeah.
His head just expands.
I'm sorry, guys. I really don't have a good segue for Insidious because it doesn't make any sense to make a segue. Like, there's no, like, the word insidious itself, it doesn't flow from something to another. It's not a good pun. It's like the word orange. Like, I can't rhyme it.
It's hard to rhyme with it.
Yeah, it's just insidious.
Well,
Insidious.
Orange
yeah.
Insidious.
On the poster, the
Insidious.
little kid has his eye scratched out. I
Insidious.
thought we could have made a kind of Carl joke moving forward into that. But that time has passed. You can't go back.
Can't go back.
Can't go back to the things we were, Carl. God
Like, the
damn,
only
Carl.
thing I was thinking of was to just yell Insidious like a jump scare because that fucking movie was so full of fucking jump scares.
That wouldn't have been a bad idea.
Yeah, well,
Damn. Ah!
exactly. God damn it.
Violins, 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 violins.
But I didn't want to, like, ear rape anybody, so I decided not to do that.
Thank you.
So let's talk about Insidious.
Yes, let's go on to actually talking about the movie, I guess.
Yeah, so this was my choice, Insidious. I picked it because I think both of you hadn't seen it. Is that correct?
I haven't
I
seen
hadn't.
it.
Yeah, you still haven't. Yeah, the reason why I picked it is because I saw Insidious a while back, and the thing that the thing that struck me the most and the thing I liked about it the most was this whole kind of idea of an astral plane, and not being your kind of stereotypical boo scary ghost, no explanation. There was kind of like a mythos and a world, so to speak. There was kind of world building there.
Yeah, oh, definitely, yeah. It was all fleshed out very well in that regard.
So the reason why I feel like that elevates it slightly above the plethora of derivative kind of ghost movies that get made every single year that kind of have boo scared and
that's what it is.
then a doll one comes out and there's 100 doll movies and then
There's a spin-off about a haunted bed sheet. And there's going to be
The
the next one's going to be
haunted
and it's going to be next one's just going to be about a haunted game of Twister.
yeah.
This time
It
you
moves
play for
your body.
keeps.
Oh, the taglines for that film are just a gift. You know how we were talking about taglines back on the Triangle episode?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
it's just kind of like adding the word death. It's like red hand to death, or left hand on death.
Yeah.
For the Twister horror movie.
Red hand to insanity.
Yeah.
Whose
You're
hand
playing
is on
Twister
red?
until Twister plays you. So many twists and turns in this drama. I don't know what the fuck. Stupid shit, Twister. It would be pretty crazy to watch a scene where somebody is being controlled by the Twister mat, though. Like the thing spins by itself and then it forces your body to contort to meet its demands.
Oh
whether
my
you
god,
can or
that's
can't.
beautiful.
Yeah, it'd be a pretty
Do
cool
you know what?
scene.
That'd be
We've
pretty
got
cool, actually.
taglines and a plot. We should write to Hasbro. Presumably it's Hasbro that owns Twister.
Wait,
Yeah.
okay, Hans,
They were
I'll-
interested in
I'll,
making
uh,
like movie properties of their things, like Battleship and stuff.
Yeah.
we can hit them up with a Twister movie.
Fuck
Oh,
yeah.
just, I'll tweet it to James Wan, see what he thinks.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah, we need to make it part of this the James Wan cinematic universe as well. So we can have the what are their names? I've forgotten the people's names, but the paranormal investigators I told you about. That he did a movie on Conjuring,
The Conjuring.
and Conjuring 2.
2 seconds. I'll get the name up.
I'm
The
drawing a blank on
Warrens.
their name. Yeah, that's it. The Warrens.
Lorraine
Ed
and
and
Ed
Lorraine Warren. They could come in. They could investigate the Twister board. They could say nothing's up. Should we have a game? And then the thing spins around by itself. It's perfect.
Nothing's up. Should we have a game? What? Anyone else have anything to do today? We can play Twister right now. It's right here. Let's just
You can be like that absolute tool in the Paranormal Activity movie. Have you guys seen Paranormal Activity 1?
No.
Parts.
Oh, okay. Now, presumably, I think Paranormal Activity is supposed to be the best one of the bunch, but it's got this really obnoxious boyfriend in it who basically the woman goes, I don't want a Ouija board in this house. Please don't bring a Ouija board in the house. So he brings a Ouija board in the house, right?
Yeah.
And then she looks at him and she's really pissed off and she's like, I can't believe you did this. And then he goes, should we use it? And she goes, okay.
Right?
Yeah,
I was
Paranormal Activity
totally
movies.
with her character until she kind of turned around and did it anyway. And then I was like, well,
What-
obviously, you
yeah,
didn't
you-
mean it.
Yeah, you ain't got no right to fucking complain, bitch.
Yeah, well, she gets possessed by the end of the movie. Spoilers.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Oh yeah, and then has the the jump scare at the camera at the end, like yawn.
Yeah.
I think it was Mark Kermode always put those movies best for me when he just said it's just nothing but bang.
Yeah, exactly.
Boring things, bang. What the fuck was that?
Yeah.
Or Red Letter Media's review of I can't remember which one it was they reviewed. It might have been 3 or 4, 27 or whatever. And it was just occasionally Mike's the class was saying, can you imagine if they had like the Universal ride for it? And it's like you're going through someone's house, it's like, oh, that kitchen top's really nice. Yeah, it's we just had it installed last week. Hell was that? That's all it is. It's just like occasionally, just like bang. Oh, did you see that? There's a creepy girl at the top of the stairs. What? What creepy girl? Oh, she's not there anymore.
Yeah.
Dude, now they already do those things. Those are those horror mazes, like at theme parks and stuff. Have you ever been to one of those?
No.
Those
No.
horror mazes.
No.
Oh, they're kind of upsetting because basically it's like they build a room or they build a series of rooms that you're supposed to be led through. They're dark, they're grungy, they've got like, really, really cliched horror tropes. Like I went to the Saw maze in, I think it's Thorpe Park in this country. And so it's got all the kind of paraphernalia on the walls of like Saw stuff, and there are people dressed up in costumes. Like each room is like a tableau. You walk into it and you see a kind of a scene happening, but there are also these real life actors who do actually kind of like move around and touch you in the dark and stuff.
Okay.
And the whole idea is you're kind of like, you're led through as a train of people. So everyone's got their hands on the shoulder of the person in front, and you feel someone against your leg or something like that.
Yeah.
Now these things, I've been through 2 of them, and the whole time I'm paranoid as fuck that I'm just gonna feel someone on my leg, lash out, deck them, and then get some kind of lawsuit because because I've grievously assaulted someone. Because
Exactly.
my first instinct in all of those situations is not to be, well, it is to be
go,
scared,
"Oh,
but it's
scared."
also to go, fucking hell, there's something there, smash.
Get off
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Fight or flight response.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
those things
knee-jerk.
just, to me, just seem like a lawsuit waiting to happen.
Yeah, that's
I think it kind of, it's the thing is, as you go in, you agree you will not attack these people. Or...
Yeah.
So you've seen there's that video on the internet of I think it's a high school in America. It's like
I
an
love
older-
that video.
It's
I love that video.
the tall black student, and he's been interviewed like for like obviously the they like set up an interview for like the school media department, and that guy jumps out of the bin to scare him, and the guy freaks out and just decks him in the face.
Oh, yeah, I've
and just
seen that.
drops him, and he's like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry."
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that video.
Fuck yeah, man. I mean, that's always a risk. Like, I'd say like last year, somewhere like 8 or 9 months ago, there was a thing with like people dressed up in clown outfits.
Oh god, yeah, last year. Fucking
Yes,
hell.
the great clowning.
Yeah,
I'm amazed no one was like genuinely hurt.
I'm
That
surprised.
they
Yeah,
didn't-
I'm
they didn't try and
surprised.
scare the wrong person.
Like, especially if that was like
Fucking
down
horrible.
here in Tennessee, where just about everybody's got a gun. You know, clown man holding some balloons out like in the woods somewhere would get shot. He wouldn't get the chance to scare. I mean, once you see a clown out of place, you have a license to kill.
Yeah, it's like you shouldn't be there. You got 5 seconds to fucking move. I'm filling you full of bullets.
Yeah, I'm gonna fill you full of daylight, clown. Get the fuck out of here. Jesus Christ.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah,
And
and he just walks over to a tiny little car, and then like 5 of them get in.
5 of them from behind you. You didn't even know were there. Whoa!
And they just-
Whoa!
With that, with all their looking very sad, with their heads just hanging
Yeah.
as they just slowly walk towards the.
Like the French
Yeah.
Pierrot clowns with the white and black and the sad faces.
with the Charlie Brown music playing.
Tiny car though. It's so funny. Honking noises. I can't make a honk noise, but like little clown honking noises. There you go.
That's a pretty good honk noise.
That'll do. That'll do, pig. Sorry, babe reference. But yeah, Insidious.
Yeah, we're
Speaking
bringing the
of creepy
timely
clowns.
references. But yeah, going back to you were talking about Red Letter Media, Matt, and they're kind of like they do cover these kind of dodgy horror films.
Yes.
And I was in our ASDA, like I said last time, Chris, subsidiary of Walmart. They're kind of like us, but they don't have the guns, unfortunately. But they do have they have a whole DVD section, right? Blu-rays and DVDs of all the movies that have come out. And then if you turn to the right in our local ASDA, there's a wall of films that are just kind of like £2 or £3, and they're kind of like the. Like Matt was saying, The Bye-Bye Man, or, like Vanished, or I think Keena bought 2 of them yesterday. What did you buy? You bought something like Plan Z, and what was the other one called? It's in that Asda bag. Yeah, because Keena loves these kind of like really trashy, kind of like low-budget horror movies, and they have a wall of them in Asda that are all £3.
That poster looks schlocky as fuck.
So I was worried when I first heard about Insidious that Insidious was just going to be another one of these jump scare movies.
That's why I didn't see it. That's actually
Plan Z and Ghost in the Machine.
Ghost in the Machine.
Don't let them in.
Oh no, I'll try not to.
See, your first mistake was to let the ghost in your machine. That's why it's not working.
Oh god, I don't know if this is the one starring Karen Allen, I like Chris Malkin, Ted Marco. Ghost in the Machine, plug into your worst nightmare.
Oh my god, it's got more than one tagline.
It might be a different movie.
Oh my god, I'm looking at Plan Z, and on the back is a guy who looks just like Negan with a baseball bat. What the fuck?
I'm sure that was accidental. Oh, I'm dead sure. When did it come out? It was purely accidental. Yeah, definitely accidental.
Craig has always thought about what he might do in a zombie apocalypse.
It's definitely accidental. I mean, it only came out in March last year.
Which one is this? Plan Z or?
Plan Z, so I think that was not accidental.
Yeah.
Everyone likes Negan.
Choose your friends first, then your weapons wisely. Winner, best foreign film. Winner, best feature film. At what fucking festival is this?
The festival held by the director and his parents.
Horror House. We're proud of you, son.
It's probably a good movie. It's probably not.
Well, yeah, we're probably going to enjoy watching them, even if, because for a couple of quid, it's a couple of quid. But like I was saying, I was really worried that Insidious was going to turn out like that, from what I heard about jumps and things like that.
Well, yeah,
that's a shame that it did.
That's the reason I never saw it back in the day, because because it came out in 2010, so it's 7 years old now, which is just crazy. And I think, let me just double check the dates, but I'd seen Drag Me to Hell, which I'd heard everyone wouldn't shut up about. And that came out the year before. And it's still really highly rated on Rotten Tomatoes because people are mental. And everyone's like, oh, it's really scary. And I went to see it, and I was digging it. Like, initially I was like, oh, this is scary, But I remember I went to go and see it with my friends, actually. And the two of us, we're not big fans of jump scares. At one point we were leaned over to each other, like, when it kept, some of the jumps were really good, and we were like, wow, this is quite scary, isn't it? And we're talking, just like whispering to each other in cinema, and then it gets about halfway through, and it started to get really obnoxious, because it was at that point I realised that Drag Me to Hell was nothing but jump scares. There was nothing really visually that was really creepy, because every time you saw anything remotely creepy, it was, oh, jump scare, oh, there's something screaming, ah! You're like, oh, for fuck's sake. I remember there's a jump scare with a fucking handkerchief.
Nice.
And it's just like, what the fuck? And then
that reminds me of Silent Hill Revelations, by the way.
It sure does.
Pop-Tart.
Oh, the Pop-Tart. But there's the ending to Drag Me to Hell is one of the most insultingly obvious and annoying endings. I mean, are you ever going to watch it, or have you watched it?
I haven't.
I don't care at all.
Right, so basically,
the deepest
she's
apathy.
cursed. The woman is cursed by a gypsy woman for basically doing her fucking job.
Ouch. Yeah,
and
never do your job right.
Yeah, she's like, basically, this woman wants, like, I think it's like another. She works as a bank loan officer, and this woman wants another extension, I think it is. And she asked for an extension on a mortgage payment, but I think she had like several at this point. She's like, I can't really. And you're supposed to. The film tries to paint it like, oh, but just because she wanted that promotion, she turned it down. Like, no, she was in her right own, she was completely in the right to do that. So
Yeah.
she curses her with, she takes a button off of her jacket and she curses it, and she gets stalked by this obnoxious, loud demon called the Lamia, which design-wise did look really cool, but every time you saw it, it was just shouting and loud and jump scare music, and it's like it started to piss me off. But so she does that, and she realizes she finds out you have to willingly pass on the cursed object to someone else, and I think it basically passes on the curse to them, which is really fucking stupid. So it's established earlier in the film, I think, like her dorky boyfriend, played by Justin Long, collects fucking coins, and she's in the car with him right at the end, because they tell her you can pass on the curse to a dead body, which is stupid.
Okay.
So that's not much of a curse. And so she's put it in an envelope, and she's in the car with him, and it just so happens that he has an envelope with a coin that's exactly the same size as the button. They hit a speed bump, she drops the envelope, reaches down, picks up the wrong envelope, doesn't fucking look inside it, and then just assumes and goes, oh yeah, this is the right one. She puts it in her pocket. So obviously, the final 15 minutes, maybe even more, we're sat in the cinema going, we know that's not the button. 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 And at the end, she realises it's not the button, and then she dies. And we're like, that was fucking insulting. But yeah, so that I started to like, and I really, really soured on it, because the jump scares just started to irritate me to no end, because it was nothing but loud noises making me jump. And I've caught clips of it now, when it's on like regular TV or just on the internet, and without all that sound equipment, the jump scares aren't even that good. So I didn't watch Insidious at the time because it was around that time where a lot of modern horrors were just nothing but jump scares.
Yeah,
like
I've just looked, and Paranormal Activity, the first one was 2007.
Yeah.
So I think along with the found footage trope, the kind of the jump scares as well was kind of a big thing in a lot of horror, sort of around that time and after. So Insidious only a couple of years after that. So
exactly. So I was, and I thought, no, it just looks like it's going to be another film laden with jump scares, and there are jump scares in it, but obviously at the time I was like, nah, even though a lot of people that I knew at the time said, no, you'll like it, it's really, you'll really like it. I was like, yeah, but jump scares piss me off.
Yeah.
And while there are jump scares, I do think, I mean, we can talk about it properly once we really get into it, but I just personally just think that while there are, there are jump scares in it, I do think that they're handled with a lot more respect, and the jump scares that are in it aren't there to insult you, because what I picked up on, because I watched it with my girlfriend, and what we were saying is, I said, there's one moment where you see one of the many horrifying monstrosities standing in the corner of the room with where the room that's their baby, and then you find out what ghost that is, and it's an important one later on in the story. But it's there, you can see it, and it gives you at least I'd say 2 seconds for your brain to process that it's there, and then the musical cue comes in.
yeah,
When the main character notices it, but you have a few seconds to process, going, oh my god, what the hell is that? And then
what the fuck is
really
that?
kicks
Just
and you go,
appeared.
fuck. And some of the other scares, I think, are where there's one that I had to keep winding it back to show my girlfriend because she missed it, where there's just stuff in the background that the film doesn't bring any attention to.
Yeah.
But we'll go into, obviously we can get into that when we get to plot. But so that's why I never saw it, but I've been looking for an excuse to watch it because I do like good horror films. Yeah, so
I wanted to say something really, really quick about Drag Me to Hell, and I'm going to skip right off of that afterwards. That whole coin thing seems like an insidious way to make sequels. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say about that.
Nice.
I have to work a segue, even if it's past the segue.
it worked.
Dude, it's not an episode if I haven't written Chris the King of Segues as the title on one of those bits on the YouTube video.
Well, I appreciate it.
And Wizzard of Blizzard as well, and you've already covered that, so...
Yeah. Insidious, I feel strongly that this movie sucks.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't like it. But then I didn't watch it in the same way that either of you probably watched it. I was upside down. No, I'm just joking. But I was sitting... You guys were trying to figure out how the fuck was he upside down. No, I was originally just going to play FF14 while it ran in the background, but then I decided, no, I'll turn it off and watch the movie. And then I had to have the remote control in my hand the whole time because it would get really loud and get really low. get really
This is
loud,
something-
get really low.
This is something I especially noticed this time through, and I completely agree with you. I'm glad it's not just my setup.
Yeah,
I
we had the
noticed
same
that
thing.
I was turning it up massively because you couldn't hear the dialogue, and then turning
Mm-hmm.
it massively down because jump scare, and it's the volume's at 50, and the neighbors are probably wondering who the fuck's getting killed.
yeah.
But it's but again, like even what was really weird is that it sometimes some like the musical stings weren't even that loud either. So I don't know if like the sound mixing was just all over the place. I'm not sure what they're doing there, unless they want you to do that.
Right.
Oh, it's
Well,
like your interaction.
with Tom saying that he had to do the same thing, I don't think it was my setup or his setup. I do believe it was
No,
generally
I
how
think-
the
I
movie
think you're
was. But that confirms it enough for me. I'm not going to experiment any further. But my problem with it was that I have 1 out of 100 on my volume scale on my TV. I had it down to 5. Right?
Jesus.
I had it down to 5 with subtitles turned on because there were points in the movie where I heard the volume normally because of how loud the jump scare stuff was. Most notably when the tiptoe through the window, da 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 da, yeah, all that.
Oh, that's so
And
good.
that guy was like sharpening his claws or whatever. That was normal
Yeah.
volume at 5.
I know I definitely think there's a problem with the mixing in the movie.
Yeah.
I think they've probably gone for it to make the jump scares have that much more kind of like a pop, but
Oh, it was more like a nuclear explosion than a pop.
exactly.
It's like shit. It's like flipping everything.
Yeah, basically.
I don't know if you guys have ever seen the clip on YouTube. It's so random, but this is what my head has gone to. There's a clip on YouTube of a minibus full of people, and one person's recording, and they're all watching this guy who's asleep, and they all start yelling really loudly, and it wakes this guy up, and he starts yelling because he doesn't know what the hell is going on. and I'll put the video in the description below. I'm sure I'll be able to find it.
Yeah.
But it's just that kind of thing, like where the volume is so loud and it just starts, and even if you weren't watching the screen, you just start going because suddenly
Right.
there's just this loud noise, and like instinctively, like kind of as mammals, we've evolved to the point where loud noise means shit, get out of there. 'Cause
Yeah.
something's happening.
Something's going on, right?
Yeah.
But the other thing with Insidious is that despite having to listen to it at very, very low volume, I will say that the camera work was really good. It was professional,
Yeah, I
quality,
really liked
sweeping scenes, and there was a point where there was what could have been a jump scare but wasn't played off as a jump scare. It was a, hey, what was that? And then they played off in that later on into a scene again with the Tulip song. But there was like a little ghost kid standing against the wall, facing the wall.
That's the moment I was talking about where it goes through, and I was watching and going, is there something in the corner of the room? And I wound it back again. It's like, there's something standing in the corner, and my girlfriend's saying, no, it's just a hat, isn't it? It's like, look, I pause, it's like, that's a fucking kid, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, it's scary because you see it and you're like, there was something there. Oh god, the character didn't, this is in the room. No, this is a thing. You walk past it. Oh god, no.
Right. But like the thing is, that one scene was good. That was genius. That was like, that's how you should do this stuff. And then it jumps straight into jump scare territory like 3 times in a row, almost immediately afterwards, as she's running around the house trying to find that kid. And okay, there I see some old shoes that have no business being here that obviously that kid's got to be wearing, and he's in that closet, so I'm going to use this hockey stick and reveal him. Nope, not there. He's in the cupboard above you. He gotcha. And it's like, fuck you, movie. Fuck you directly. I don't want it. I don't want a jump scare. I want to get involved. I want to get interested. I want to lean forward and go, oh, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? And then get shot in the face by pure sound. Fuck you. I don't want that anymore. I'm tired of it. But besides the jump scares, again, the cinematography was really good. The way the cameras moved, how there wasn't any shaky cam, how they let you see what was happening, that is really good.
Yeah.
I will give it that. There's points where the monster is literally in the room and you can get a good eyeful of what it is. I like seeing that in my horror movies whenever they can pull that off. So like that, but those I think the only 2 real good points. Besides that, like the plot wasn't really anything I haven't seen before. It was just like, okay, yeah, ghosts, possessions or attempted possessions, tropes like those 2 ghost girls who are just like, we're here, we're smiling, and then they go
Oh,
away.
yeah.
It's like, why smiling? Why are they smiling? You know, and I start thinking about, like, what are these ghosts doing all day? They're just thinking, how can we be super creepy to people who are alive when we get the chance to be creepy? I will say, though, and I'll stop after this and let someone else talk. The scene that involved their background when they were alive with that family murder thing, that was really good. That was worth watching the whole movie for. If I stopped right there, I'd have been satisfied. But that was a really good scene.
So I really liked that scene as well, and especially when he's backing away, he turns to the right and he looks back and in front of him, and then their expression changes to like a really warped smile very quickly.
Yeah.
And he just runs up the stairs like, you might want to move. Because they realise you're not one of them.
Yeah, but that thing is, after that scene, there should have been some sort of something. It shouldn't have been like, well, he left. Let's resume what we were doing. Get the newspaper, I'll get the gun.
Well,
like,
the thing I liked about it... Sorry, you go, Matt.
No, that's right, no, go.
I was just going to say that there are elements of that I like. I like the fact that, if I recall correctly, they were in that old, the first house that they moved into.
Yes, they were.
That's where they're kind of in the alternate version of that house, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
So they were murdered there. So that's kind of a reason why there would be this kind of activity in terms of like paranormal and this other plane. And the fact that they are kind of doomed to relive the circumstances of their death over and over again, because they're kind of like, I guess, presumably, quote unquote, lost souls, or these kind of, it's kind of a purgatorial realm.
Yeah.
I thought that was really neat, and so it kind of like, not an awful lot of that, although you do get the sense of what happened to the family. It's played out literally in front of you as it more or less happened. Yeah. I do like the fact that, to realise that might be the reason why that house is haunted, and to put two and two together. It's not explicit. It's not kind of like, they don't have a scene where they go, oh, so those guys were killed here and that's why this house is so fucking haunted. It's instead it was more just kind of like a subtle thing that you can either pick up on or not. And yeah, sometimes that does run the risk of being kind of like, well, what was the point in that happening? But for me, that whole, like, watching it again, especially this second time, it's a movie of two halves, and I feel like the first half is needed to build tension, but all of my favourite stuff is in the second half. So all of the stuff to do with the way the other realm works and how people traverse it and all that kind of stuff, to me is the meat of the movie that makes it different or stand out from other things like it. So
it does get it gets very schlocky all of a sudden as well, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it is a bit schlocky. Yeah,
when is it Specs and Tucker, I think the names are.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wonder if Specs' real name is Dale. Anyway.
Like they turn up and they're kind of goofy, and it's like, this is weird because the rest of the movie's been so dark and very creepy. And I do think the film builds up suspense very well, just in the way it's shot. There's a lot of like slow zooms in a lot of the characters when they're talking as well, so it's like you're anticipating something happening. And I was saying to the girlfriend at the time as well, like, when we were watching it, and at the time as we were watching, but which, and there's a lot of handheld shots as well, and all the handheld shots, they're obviously it's shaky because it's on someone's shoulder, but it was almost like it added something to it because the way the camera was moving during those moments as well, it was almost like you were watching them. It's like almost like you were like spying on them, just the way it was like moving, the camera's moving around.
Yeah, it's kind of like found footage, but without being shaky and jarring. It's more just kind of like, I guess, voyeur footage. Voyeur. You feel in the scene without having to have all that kind of unnecessary kind of camera POV stuff.
Exactly. But then, so you got all that, and then all of a sudden these two characters turn up who are really goofy, and they're obviously the comedic relief.
Yeah.
And then they start getting all those tools out. I was like, this has gotten really schlocky all of a sudden. Like,
it is.
I love that.
Yeah. I feel like those
it's
touches are
strange.
kind of homages to Poltergeist.
Yeah,
specifically.
definitely.
And
film
I
has
feel
a
like
lot
this is a kind of a
Poltergeist.
Poltergeist for the new age.
Yeah,
it kind of
really
plays
is.
on those tropes, and it's also helpful for. I mean, obviously, as a viewer, you're sat there going, well, something's clearly not right in this place. But when they come in and all their kind of like Fisher-Price instruments go off the charts and stuff, you go, oh yeah, okay, right, this is serious shit.
Yeah, pretty much. But it's. I mean, yeah. So it does get really schlocky and very strange. But you were saying about Poltergeist. This film owes a lot to Poltergeist, like the whole other world.
Yeah, I think so, definitely.
Owes a lot. I will say
the whole come back to us, kind of thing.
And going into the father going in to rescue one of these children.
Yeah, exactly.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Also, the final towards the end when he's in the alternate version of his house. In that moment, I think they made a better Silent Hill movie than the Silent Hill movie. Just the moments where he's just running around in nothing but darkness with a little lamp.
Yeah.
You can't see, and then it's very foggy and all of that. It was like being in the other world, and it was really interesting. I liked all the imagery, but yeah, you're right. It's definitely a film with two halves.
Mm.
Yeah,
completely different.
It's weird because like the first half was basically what you would expect from a movie about a possession or a ghost or haunting or something like that. That you know you're going into this movie for. You know you're going to sit down. You're going to watch something being haunted. It starts off exactly as you would expect. Doors opening that shouldn't be open. Security systems. That fucking security system was loud. That shouldn't be tripped because there's nobody there, but there was somebody there. All that stuff. It was. I would say the first half was pretty boring, to be honest, because of that. But it really sets up on the second half, like you guys were saying about the Ghostbusters guys. They weren't really Ghostbusters, but they might as well have been Ghostbusters. When they show up, I was like, oh, there is a movie here. What's happening now? Because I have no idea what's going to happen next. Because they're going to use their tools and they might find something, and maybe there's a vacuum cleaner they're going to use to suck the ghost out, or like Luigi's Mansion or something. Maybe they're going to have a proton
you were close.
bag.
They need to wear gas masks instead.
Yeah. So, like, at that point...
scribble on paper, really, really kind of, like, terrifyingly.
Yeah, I mean, Specs got some balls to just sit there and, like, she's going crazy, but I am not going to lose focus. I am going to do my job. I'm going to do my job. That shit was actually... that was the entertaining part, but it was sad that you had to trudge through tropery and boring, like, okay, yeah, they have a house that's probably haunted. Who cares to get to that part? But once you get to that part, it does up ramp a little bit. It reminded me a little bit of what Red Letter Media said once about how this is the scene where they explain everything to the viewer, or they add a comic relief to the viewer because you've just been through this part. To sort of like refresh the viewer to seeing the rest of the movie, kind of, like sort of like getting a snack. Here's a joke.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Like even when there's again with like the two comedy relief characters, like even when they're getting scared, their reactions are funny.
Yeah.
Because they've obviously seen stuff, but they still get completely terrified each time.
Exactly. Exactly. Like they've seen some stuff, but they still like, okay, this is to a level where it scares an experienced ghost hunter. So I, as the audience member, should also be more interested in what's going on. Is what they supplied, as well as a couple of jokes.
Exactly, because it's like if they're scared, oh dear.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Oh yeah. So, but beyond that, like the Further, because neither of you have mentioned it, it's called The Further.
Oh yes, The Further.
Yeah,
that's the alternate reality, where all the tortured souls just hang out and relive their terrible, tragic life for eternity, I guess. Which I find that trope to be like, oh, come on, really? Like, is that what eternity is? Okay, don't do anything bad or you'll end up doing the bad thing for eternity.
Dude, that's my jam. Like, 90% of the things I'm into are about that. So
really? Well,
I love that stuff up. It's cool.
I like closure, and that's like the antithesis to closure.
Yeah.
Never closure. But yeah, I mean, I did like the ghosty, like, smoky area, and I do hand it to... the actor who I can't remember the actor's name, but the father in the movie for going
Patrick
through
Wilson.
that. Yeah, he performed excellently in that entire like series of scenes in The Further. Except for the one part where we mentioned the family. I'm just going to go ahead and say the family gets shot. They're like ghosty family people sitting in the living room, and then like one of the family members gets a gun and just shoots all three of them for whatever reason she had to do that. But just before that moment, the mom is like ironing, and the actor's like getting his face really close to her face. Like, I'm going to taste your face.
You know what I liked about those shots as well is that as far as I can remember, they kind of hover over them and then one of them blinks.
Yeah.
And that's kind of creepier than if she hadn't, because it kind of implies that they are just kind of stood there like, I don't know. So it's almost kind of like, they're Sorry, my wife's talking in my ear. Yeah, they're like mannequins basically. But
I thought that. Yeah, they looked they also like wax models at times as well. Like the makeup they used, it made them look like they gave them a really strange like what's the word I'm looking for? Artificial look to them.
Yeah, kind of hyper real. And I think as well with the main demon of the piece as well is kind of like a almost caricature-ish, in a way. Everything sort of like dialed up a bit to 11, but memorable at the same time.
I do like that about the dialogue and the build-up. When Elise, the psychic lady who has her 2 Ghostbuster friends, she was talking about, okay, this ghost is a normal ghost. This ghost is like a super bad ghost, and then like she refers to the dark-skinned, red-faced like demon guy. This thing will come in and just fuck shit up, right?
He just wants to kill people.
Yeah,
basically, he just wants to hurt people.
Yeah,
and that's very creepy.
Yeah, and I thought that was really well set up. Instead of like the ghosts who just want to possess and live again through somebody else's body, she added levels of threat, And then at the very end of the movie, which I'm not going to say anything exactly about, there's another threat level that was sort of like hidden along the whole storyline. Yeah. And then it comes out at the end like, oh shit, that's probably worse than the other thing that was actually trying to possess the kid. So, that's cool.
And we were talking about it after the film finished when we were just saying that thing was patient. That one was like patient for a good 25 years.
Well, got nothing to do but wait. In the eternity of torture and purgatory and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's just like I'm waiting. I got all the time in the world, mate.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of the thing from It Follows.
Right.
Yeah. Sort of just it will get to you the second you let it, the second you stop.
I think it's important to mention the first part of the movie. It sets up the fact that a young boy went up to an attic, bumped his head, which that had nothing to really do with anything, but went to bed, woke up in a coma or some sort of coma, and was unable to move or whatever. Because we were talking about the movie, we haven't actually set up the story at all, but that's basically what happened. And then like 3 months later, the boy still hasn't moved. He has feeding tubes and all that kind of stuff. And the family at their wits' end calls in the Ghostbusters and at least to see what's going on, because there's some haunting shit going on around the family.
Oh yeah, and that's especially after they've moved once as well.
Yeah,
from their new house back into, I guess it's his mum's house.
I think so.
I don't think so, because his mom's name is Lorraine, I thought, and Lorraine came to visit them.
That's right. Yeah,
and the rest of the family's children were living with Lorraine during this exorcism psychic gathering.
Oh,
thing.
That's right. So yeah, maybe it was just a new place then.
It was just a new place. Yeah, apparently as a teacher, he makes a lot of money.
Well, it's all that overtime he does.
Yeah.
What? Because he's terrified to go home.
I mean, yeah, he's scared to go home, but that wasn't happening after the haunting. That was happening before the haunting. So, like, that's one story element in the first half of the movie that just didn't make any sense to me. Why was he staying late when they set up that he never stayed late before, ever, as a teacher? He's like, oh, it's got a great test. Like, give them all Fs and go home. What's the problem? Get some sleep, right? But no, he ends up staying late and going in early to work before the hauntings start. And then after the hauntings, it would make more sense that he doesn't want to go home because he's scared. But he's been doing that well before the hauntings start, so it doesn't make sense as a plot device.
No. But I do like the fact that he was very skeptical for a long time until, the revelation to do with his past.
Yeah.
And because far too many times in these movies you see people go, oh, okay, yeah, we'll get the people in, and then when they come in, they go, okay, this is what's happening, so we need to fix it. While he's like, nope, this has gone on long enough. Goodbye. There's the door. See you later.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it makes sense. It makes sense that that's coming from a place of denial in him as a character as well, because there's this deep-seated thing that happened to him when he was much younger. That's been almost kind of like hidden a regressed memory. So
yeah, he was very scared of it, and he didn't even know why, because he didn't believe it.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think I did feel at times that it felt like Josh, who played by Patrick Wilson, who I'm sure is Chris Pratt's dad from the past, who's like a time traveler or something.
This is not the first time you've mentioned this either.
No. I feel like Josh for a lot of the movies almost like in the role of the audience in a way, because although obviously both him and his wife are being told these things about this is what's happening, he's the one, we're along with him reacting to all of this.
Yeah, yeah. Although we are seeing the things that his wife is seeing, we also aren't sure at that point if she's just a kind of an unreliable narrator, and he's kind of rooted more in reality in terms of going to a job and grading papers and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah,
he's trying desperately to get on with it, and he keeps failing. Did anyone notice there's the puppet from, I can't remember which name of it, it's Billy or something from Soul. Yeah, I saw
it
it
was drawn on the chalkboard. I noticed that
chalkboard. I liked that. I was like, that's
that.
Nice. Yeah, that's something, because obviously it's the same people. So yeah, I can't remember, is it called Billy or something like that?
I didn't know it had a name, but yeah.
Apparently,
I think it does. Yeah.
But it's like scrawled on the blackboard behind him.
Mm-hmm. I was like, oh my god, is that? I mean, it is, but also, is that going to be a problem? Is there going to be a puppet in this movie? I didn't know anything about the movie going in, so I didn't know if there was like, oh, it's a creepy doll in the room, it's going to scare you or something, or what. I had no idea what I was getting into. But I will say that like the second half was a lot more enjoyable, and I wish that the second half was actually more into like was more of the movie, like just. Not like 1/3 set up and then 2/3 that. I mean, like the whole movie just be what that second half was. Just give us the perspective of the ghost hunters instead of the family. Like I want to see more of this further. I want to see more of the setups and all that kind of stuff.
Interesting you say that, because I would recommend Insidious Chapter 2.
I do want to see it. Yeah,
I have seen it and I did enjoy it. However, you will get more of what you're wishing for there, Chris, but there is also what comes with that is the desire for answers. Sometimes when you get answers, you don't want answers. And there is an aspect to Insidious Part 2 where you get some answers and they feel a bit kind of cliched, but it's still a very enjoyable movie, and they do build on a lot of these aspects, and there is a lot more focus on the investigators as well as based on the end of the movie, what happens to Josh and how he treats his family based on that.
Yeah.
It's definitely worth checking out. But
I definitely intend to watch it.
You do you certainly get some closure, not on the enemy of this movie, but the spirit that is particularly possessing Josh as we reach towards the end of the movie. I feel like we can say that now.
Yeah. Well,
also,
go ahead, Matt. Sorry.
I was going to say about the possession as well. What I kind of liked about that, it did remind me a bit of. We're going back onto the Twin Peaks thing here. It did remind me of a certain villain in Twin Peaks, of how it managed to get back into his body before he did.
Yeah.
Like someone else. Also, the way at the end when he kills Elise. Elise.
Yeah.
It's what I liked was that it wasn't just like the ghost going ha 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 fuck you. It was almost like there was still elements of Josh in there, but it just it was just like corrupting him.
Yeah.
Because when he strangles her, he's just saying, why would you take my fucking picture? I don't like having my picture taken. He just strangles her.
Yeah.
I thought and I started to think that's very Bobbish.
Yeah,
it's kind of. It feels like he could maybe. It's almost like it can just possess him when it feels like it.
And also, it sort of like fighting against the inherent person that still that person is. Just kind of like very much kind of they then become the submissive or the person in the kind of the background. That plays into you guys haven't seen Get Out, but a big strong element of the plot of Get Out is kind of about people becoming kind of like passengers or backseat in their own body with someone else taking over. So it's that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, I think it's important to mention at this point that the movie is about possession.
Yeah.
Like, the kid's in a coma, but it's not because he's medically in a coma. It's because his actual soul has escaped his body, and he is just having fun walking around the further somehow. Like,
It's not the kind of place like... you can establish so much in terms of like childhood naivety, but there reaches a point where you kind of go, if I travel to this place in my sleep and I can fly, sure, but there are creepy dead people.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't want to go there.
Yeah, and like if he could
Maybe I
fly,
understand
how come he's not flying ever?
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah,
and
that's a
I have
good
to
point.
admit, just after saying that, it would be really cheesy, schlocky if he just flew away like Superman. But
Let's fly home, son.
yeah, da da da.
And they just fly very slowly,
Yeah.
just kind of like hovering.
Yeah, like
about,
Doctor Strange.
about 4 feet off the ground.
But at the same time, that was set up in the story, and it would have been a much easier time getting back than it would have been to be surrounded by spirits and stuff.
Yes,
But yeah,
this is
so
very true.
that's the point of the movie, was that the kid was in the further. The further is the afterlife, the purgatory, or whatever. Once Josh being the father, finally starts to accept that his son is actually not at home in his body, because his mom shows him pictures of somebody who was trying to like follow him and take his body, because he was an astral projector too. Like all of that stuff, just sort of, I'm losing my point here. Oh, all that stuff is really necessary to understand what we're talking about with the movie. So
Yeah.
once he gets these pictures, like, who is this? Who is all this? These are all the memories I don't remember. Who's that lady following me? And it's like some sort of countess with like a bridal gown and a veil on her face, and she's just always like watching out for Josh. Like, one of these days you're gonna step out of that body. I'm just gonna step in. That's what she sounds like in my head.
So I've got all the time in the world. I
Yeah.
can just wait, and that's why because obviously once the reveal at the end, because we think as the audience think he's combating his fears by like just telling the base. He's basically saying to her fuck off, which is really funny.
Yeah.
He's just looking at her going fuck off, fuck off, and it's like she's still smiling, and she's smiling because she knows that he's very
won.
distracted.
Yeah.
It's like well, I'm gonna go and fuck off into your body now. Bye.
Right. But see, that's the thing. That to me makes zero sense, because it doesn't show that in the movie these ghosts can occupy two spaces at once. So if he's yelling at her to fuck off, then how is she also in his body?
Well, I think when he's doing that, it looks like she starts to like she becomes like smaller and smaller, and almost like she's like drifting away. So I'm not actually 100% sure. Maybe they explain it in the sequel. I'm not sure.
Maybe. But on top of that, probably not. But on top of that, the problem in the movie at the very end was that all of these ghosts are aware there's an empty vessel to inhabit, so they're all trying to climb out and get from the further back into either the child's body or Josh's body before they get back into their bodies.
Yeah.
But they're also in the real world.
Yeah, I didn't like that. That was really that felt was like, am I watching a zombie film all of a sudden? Like, how can they take physical? Because they were like physically like there.
Yeah.
They were like physical beings almost.
They
because
were opening doors. They were like opening drawers. They were grabbing people. They were.
Yeah, and then they were like bracing the doors to stop them getting through. I was like, what did they what?
Yeah,
and in most cases as well, they weren't the ghosts that particularly kind of like were tied to that house, like that family.
Exactly.
It was usually other people, so there's no real explanation as to why they would be there to gravitate towards him in the first place, let alone manifest physically in the real world.
Yeah, exactly. That's where the movie to me just like fell flat, and it became a bad movie because like the setup was boring, sure, but the Ghostbusters were a lot of fun. Okay, I'm on board with the plot twist. I'm on board with what's progressing until they start like coming into the real world, and the whole thing it gets really hard to hold the theme and the actual plot together when that happens. I really think that they should just kept it like, I don't know, in the astral plane, like Josh and his son are fighting them off to get to their own bodies, while everyone else is like, make it, come on, follow my voice, call it, that kind of thing, instead of actually being thrown around or having to use different lights. Shine the light on Josh, like, what does that do? But Tucker was like on the couch, like he's holding a machine gun.
It just looks nice.
Just
Cinematography.
like throwing the fucking light on. I'm like, get to the body, follow the light. The whole thing just falls apart right there, and I'm like, this movie's bad.
Yeah, it has a strange climax in the sense it's like, it's building up, but you think he's gonna have like some kind of I thought he was gonna have some kind of confrontation with the red-faced demon. Instead, he has the confrontation with the guy in the leather coat who he just pushes away.
Yeah, who has no backstory at all, has no like interesting moment in any way, shape, or form. But I did like when Elise was like, "You're stronger than him. You're the one who's alive." I was like, "Oh yeah, give him power." Like that was cool. Yeah. Like Josh stood up, like, "Fucking yeah, I'm still alive. You're the wasted spirit. I'm gonna knock you out." Yeah. And I was like, "That's what's gonna give him the advantage over the demon. That'll be cool to watch."
That's what I thought.
But it didn't. He ran away still, and the demon just never could catch up. Even though it's shown in the movie later on that he's able to move quickly.
Yeah. That was it was really strange. I don't know if it was just enjoying fucking with the child or not, but yeah, I felt the same as you that I really thought, okay, yeah, so we've established that he has more power over them here because he is actually complete still, because it's not just he's still alive, so his soul's more powerful or whatever. And I thought, that's good. It's going to have it's not going to be like a kung fu fight or anything, like an action set piece with the red-faced demon. But I thought this would be where, because it was building up as, he's the skeptic in the family, and he becomes almost like the hero towards the end because he saves his son, although it goes horribly wrong for him.
Yeah.
But it's like, this is how he's going to stand up to it, and he's just basically going to just like deck it.
Yeah.
He's going to punch it right in the face, and it's going to go flying, and it's going to be funny.
Yeah, it's going to be flying, like, fly out the house, like, bust a hole in the wall, and it just goes away, and it'd be awesome. Like, the demon shows up, and he's, like, trying to, like, get the chains, or just, like, the ability to rip the chains off of his son would have been nice.
Yeah.
And then, like, the demon shows up, and he just, like, fucking headlocks it or something. I don't know.
Suplex. Yeah, he's just like, he's like, I'm not scared of you, and just decks him.
Yeah. Like, because, they've set up that the demon is scary and the demon's got claws or whatever. That's fine. But this is, like, a man who's trying to protect his son, a man who now has a stronger soul because we were told he has a stronger soul. So why not be able to take the demon down and then just, like, run his son home, and then that just be the end of the movie?
Exactly. It's just something. It doesn't have to be like a fight, just some kind of struggle with it.
Yeah.
Because the whole time I was thinking, why is it not just grabbing this kid and...
why? If the kid's chained up and just waiting for it, why is anyone waiting? Why is the demon just going to be like, I'm just going to sit here and sharpen my claws and sing my favorite song, derp derp derp?
Because also they're actually thinking about it as well. I just noticed a bit of a hole. They say, it can't inhabit his body right away because
it takes time and energy. She said, didn't she?
And then fucking Josh goes into the further, and then thinking immediately. Unless they meant that like accumulated, the more you do it, the less the less the link is, like, strength wise. So yeah, I'm actually just thinking that's a little confusing now, because he can't possess him right away because his link to his real body has to be weakened first, or he has to be out of it long enough for them to do it. And then Josh is there for about 20 minutes, and then it's like, fuck you.
Are you talking about the creepy old lady?
Yes.
I think the idea or the premise was that she spent all that time getting closer and closer to him. So when they brainwashed him or hypnosised him to not astral plane anymore, she was always that close to him. But just because it would only take one more time for him to let her in.
So it is accumulated then?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and she's just kind of for, I guess, what would be, 30 years. She's been sat there patiently waiting for the chance for him to astral plane again so that she could finally, make that last step towards him and get in.
I think the final... It's not even really a scare so much, it's just obviously at the end when the wife comes in to find Elise dead. She's looking for Josh, and then she's got her back to the camera, and he just puts his hand on her shoulder and just says, "I'm here." And there's just something very disconcerting about the way he just very calmly says, "I'm here."
And then violins.
Yeah, fuck you!
Yeah, God.
It was. it looked like he was, because I don't know if I'm just remembering wrong, but it looked like maybe like because he wasn't that much taller than his wife, but that moment right here, it looked like his arm was coming down from a lot higher up. When he was like, is he floating?
Yeah, that would have been creepy. Yeah,
shit.
That would have been creepy if he did.
Yeah.
Spoilers for chapter 2. He wasn't floating.
Shut up.
No,
I know
don't
that.
tell me.
All I know in the sequel is that it involves the same family again.
Yes, you do get answers and you do get conclusion as well, which is good. It's just I feel like the problem you have with a story like this is you need to have enough mystery so that people are left wondering and it seems mysterious and cool. But at the same time, you need to answer some of the questions. You have to lay out a kind of a base plan as to how things function, what the because otherwise you have no stakes. You don't know what the consequences of actions are. So you need to know that these monsters can get in, and it takes them time and energy. But by the rules of however this kind of universe works, they can eventually get in and stuff like that. The problem is in the second movie. And I would still highly recommend the second movie if you like the first movie. I enjoyed it. It was great. But there are kind of things where they go, well, we're going to have to give more answers than we've got mysteries for. So you do kind of get these nitty-gritty, realistic, real-life answers, which are never as good as your imagination could make them out to be.
Right.
Yeah, you kind of, you get a... I'm trying carefully not to spoil it, but essentially it's a kind of like... this person's ghost is this person who lived here and their name was this. It's kind of like, it becomes explicit, and the problem there is, it does ruin the mystique a little bit.
Because that's not what, that's not personally what I care about. I just want to see what, if they can successfully save him. That's all I care about.
If you can see past a few things like that, yes, absolutely. And it's good. There's plenty of menace. The way the character kind of carries on is interesting. I won't tell you, but the good character, the original version, is still in there somewhere. He's just kind of quote unquote trapped. So
it's very much like our favourite serial killer from Twin Peaks.
Yeah, it's weird that you're mentioning Twin Peaks, but there are kind of parallels in terms of that kind of. Yeah, there is someone. He is kind of like trapped in a place where he can't get back yet. Yeah, it's strange.
I wonder if they watch Twin Peaks.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Bob.
Instantly, Chris. Yeah, no. To be honest, for your Christmas present, I'm going to buy you all of Twin Peaks and buy you a copy that you can mail to your fiance as well, so you can just watch Twin Peaks.
Yes.
Well,
watch it.
It's so good.
Yeah, I do want to check it out, and it seems like I can go ahead and say this with some confidence. We may be called spoilers of the damned, but at least we're not going to spoil Twin Peaks for you.
No. Mainly because none of us have a fucking clue what's going on.
Yeah, we don't even know what to definitively tell you. There are people in the movie, that is for sure, or the show, I mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's...
Incidentally, watch our other episodes based around Twin Peaks, but...
yeah, we have a side cast.
Yeah. Interestingly, I've been thinking about what to do for the next sidecast. I saw that The Mist has come out, or the first episode has been released. I haven't watched it yet, but I don't think that's high enough caliber for us to do a sidecast on. Although it would be good because everyone's getting in on the ground floor. There's no previous seasons to watch or anything.
That's true.
We'll have to have a think about it.
I didn't even know that it actually come out yet. Fuck.
Yeah, I think the first episode was this week just gone.
God damn it.
Yeah, I haven't even caught up with it yet because I've got Fear the Walking Dead and I've got Twin Peaks, both of which are current at the moment. Game of Thrones is coming up.
I was going to say Game of Thrones is in 3 weeks now, I think.
Yep, it's the day after my birthday. It's the first episode, so...
Yeah, so I don't know if I've really got time to watch... I mean, obviously, it's only 3 shows, but still, so I have other things to do as well. It's like 3 shows that I have to watch them all.
I haven't watched American Gods for that reason. I know I probably want to watch it, but I just haven't yet.
Well, of course you want to watch it. It's American Gods.
American Gods. Written by an Englishman. But, yeah.
This ain't your British gods.
Yeah. Move aside, Thor. Not implying it's a British god. Anyway.
Our god's got guns.
I guess
take your pussy hammer.
You ever heard of John Wick?
Oh, dude, I watched John Wick 2 this week, by the way. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
It's a lot of fun. It's a stupid film.
And
But
there is a link there, by
I
the way,
mean,
King of
good way.
Segues. We were talking about Ian McShane. He's in both. So he's in American Gods and he's in John Wick. So
Very much like Ian McShane.
Okay.
Very much. Very, very, very fucking good actor.
yeah.
All right. Well, I think it's safe to say as well that was Insidious. The conversation, not the what we were just saying.
Yeah, I mean, in closing, I'm glad I watched it again. It did bring home to me the fact that there is a kind of, although you need that building of tension, that it does definitely pick up in the second half as opposed to the first half. I do
really
like the world
kicks
building
off.
stuff, and I will recommend Chapter 2 and say if you enjoyed this one, you probably enjoyed Chapter 2 because there is some world building, and some of the answers are a little bit underwhelming, but overall it's still a very good time. So
I think there's one more. There's 3 and they're making 4, aren't they?
Yes,
but
they're making
am I right
4.
that they're prequels, aren't they?
It looks like the 4th one,
Yes,
from my brief glimpse on
3 is a
Wikipedia,
prequel.
is all about the history of Elise.
Yeah, it's like sometimes like, do we really want to see that? That's what worries me.
It was
when they
way
do
more
stuff like
fun
this,
when
'cause
she
I
just
the
like
character.
walked in like, I have done things, and you can just
Yeah.
imagine that she did things, and it was way more effective
and that's
that way.
more exactly than going, oh, this is what she was like. No, I just think it gives her character more mystery. Like, well, how long has she been doing this for? She just says, I've been doing this a long time. So, because the thing is this problem I have with prequels in general is that because it's been made after the first 2 or whatever. They feel like they have to, obviously it's the sequels, they have to raise the bar, and because of that you end up getting characters that are supposed to have just combated the most powerful thing ever, blah blah blah, battling something that was actually far more powerful.
Yeah.
And it's like in sci-fi as well. You look at, we were saying about Prometheus a few weeks ago. One of my main problems aesthetically in Prometheus is that all their technology is far superior to the technology in Alien, an Alien is set 50 years after Prometheus.
Yeah.
And you get stuff like that, and it always takes me out of it always breaks the immersion, so to speak. Like, it just kind of takes me momentarily out. I'm like, yeah, but now you're fighting a thing that's actually more powerful than the thing that is supposed to be super powerful in the first one.
Right.
Yeah, it does kind of, in raising the stakes, you make the stakes in the first film seem minuscule in comparison, so there's less gravitas.
Yeah, there is. It's like, well, why are you... and a good one video game-wise, actually, I can think of is... one of the reasons I don't like Resident Evil 0 is because it looks cool just because it used the same engine as the Resident Evil remake.
Yeah.
But the problem is, obviously, in the Resident Evil remake, when Chris meets Rebecca, she's very squeamish and like freaking out a bit.
Yeah.
And then I play Resident Evil 0 and just think, but you've fought giant leech monsters,
Leech Man.
giant scorpion, a tyrant. You've already fought a tyrant and hunters and all this other shit. Why only now are you freaking out and like a nervous wreck?
Yeah.
He's like, I can't do anything without Chris.
Well, let me ask you
that type
something,
of
Matt.
stuff kind of goes.
Let me ask you something real quick. After you've fought Tyrant and Leech Man and all that kind of stuff, do you just settle in for some tea and calm down?
Well, obviously. I'm British.
I'm just saying. I mean, like, I can imagine Rebecca's nerves are probably shot at that point.
Well, I think it's more. It's more of a
she can
case
still
that she
play
just
piano.
becomes. I think it's more a case that she just becomes like so not. She's not useless, but by the end of 0, she's taken a giant leech monster with like a grenade launcher and whatnot, and then it's. By the like a couple of hours later, and when she meets Chris, she's like, "Chris, I need your help. I can't do it without you." Like, you just killed like leeches
It's
and
kind of
monsters and lots of explosions.
Very loath to use it as an example, but it leads. The problem is I think you'll have that inherent problem with every kind of prequel you ever try to do.
Yeah,
and the ways around it are sometimes not even better than just kind of leaving it as an inconsistency, because if we turn to the brilliant example of X-Men Wolverine Origins, or whatever it is, X-Men Origins Wolverine, spoilers for X-Men Origins Wolverine, and they literally go, how can we just like set him up for the ones that come after this? Oh, we'll just shoot him with a what is it, like
adamantium bullet.
Yeah, magic bullet.
The only thing that can pierce
just makes
adamantium
him
is adamantium.
Forget everything magically.
Why does it make him forget?
Because we need it to.
Why?
I got a memory gun.
I got a
Only
memory
thing that can
gun.
pierce memory gun. Only thing that can pierce adamantium is adamantium. because that's how shit works, right?
Right. It's supposed to be.
Like, what?
So yeah, sometimes it's just easier to go. We don't know why they were acting in a weird way.
It's called writing yourself
Yeah.
into a corner.
Like,
Isn't that's what it is? It's basically writing
It's
yourself
also
into a
one of the
corner.
main arguments, I think, for watching something in release order and not plot chronology order.
Yeah.
With some cases, you should start with the one that comes first chronologically. But yeah, ultimately, I think you should watch things in release order if you can, because, otherwise you will see those inconsistencies much bigger.
yeah.
Much bigger.
And
It's like Fire Walk With Me as well. If you watch Fire Walk With Me first,
Oh my god,
it's
you
set
poor
before Twin
person, you
Peaks.
have no fucking clue what's going on.
yeah, and you're just like, right, and then you watch Twin Peaks. It's like, who's the killer? And you're like, but I know who it is.
Mm.
It's like, it's but why is it what's going on? I'm so confused. Why is he suddenly there? What the fuck? Where's Kiefer Sutherland? All those questions.
yeah.
That's the important question. Where's Kiefer Sutherland?
But I think in the very end, the companies that are producing media, sequels and prequels and whatever, pretty much just have to step over that particular hurdle in order to make some money, because Resident Evil 0 did sell. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, in the end, it's like, if someone were like, but sir, Rebecca's going to go through all this stuff, but how about how she is in Resident Evil 1? Oh, you're right, we shouldn't do it.
I'm not saying that. I just think it could
I've
have
got
been
one
handled
solution. It involves a memory gun. I'm not going to lie.
Memory gun.
better. she got
Here
she got
come
shot.
the Men in Black. Because that
Oh, that's the twist.
Yeah.
That's what they're building up
Yeah,
to.
they have the
It's
little-
actually tied into the Men in
they
Black
have the red
series.
light flashy memory thing.
Oh my god!
Okay.
It's been all there all along.
Yeah.
If you look in the distance, you can actually see a slight flash, and that's the memory eraser gun.
It's set to broad beam to get maximum coverage.
It's like you know those people like, oh, I could see something in the mist. Like, no, you couldn't. It's like the people. Obviously, there's that tragedy in the Grenfell Tower in London, and I saw one of these stupid things going around. There was a footage of the fire on I think it was Sky News, and it was someone recording it on their phone or from their TV, and it's like, if you look at this second, you can see what looks like a woman walking to the side with her daughter. I'm like, yes, that is called reflection, because fire's bright, and it's called reflecting off the glass on the camera. You fucking numpty. It's not a ghost. They're like, oh my god, I saw it. Can you see it? It freaked me out. Like, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Like, I believe you want, but stop digging and going, oh no, there's a orb. There's one little. That's called dust particle. You fucking idiot.
There is
When it's like one little thing, like, oh, do you see that? I mean, it
Yeah.
moved. Strange. That's called the airflow changing, and it's. I mean, I don't know if there is anything, but when people like really reach, that's when I start to have issues.
Without spoiling anything for you, Chris, in the most recent episode of Twin Peaks, there is a shot where a plane is flying in the air. Okay, so we have a plane that is flying, and you can see that the sun is on the horizon, either at sunset or sunrise, and the light is shining into the windows. And as the plane moves, the reflections of the window reflect the light, and as such, it appears as if the windows disappear. So a certain number of windows disappear while some remain visible.
Okay.
I have read thousands of words about what this means, that it was deliberate, that it isn't to do with reflecting sunlight, that it is, of course, 100% intended and has plot relevance. Okay, so...
I mean, at any point, do you just stop and go, I wonder if David Lynch is just rolling the dice and throwing elements into his TV show just to get people talking, because he knows that they will. He knows that they're gonna talk. Like, let's just have a white spotted rabbit come on camera for 2 seconds and leave. Just do that. And then everyone's going to be like, what's that rabbit mean? Oh, I think it means innocence. Maybe that person didn't do what they said they did. Oh, shit, let's talk about it. Endless. Like, oh my God, please stop.
Chris, I see you frequented the Twin Peaks subreddit.
I've
Some
been
of the
spoiling
theories,
myself.
Jesus. Some of those theories are just, Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah,
Just
so I think
absolutely
summing up in
ridiculous.
short, yeah, you can analyze plot forever, and you will find these inconsistencies. Sometimes you have to let them go if you like a thing,
Yes.
or sometimes you can't let them go, and it means you won't like the thing. But I mean,
Speaking of
fair
summing up, and also whether I liked a thing, you can go ahead and put Insidious on the bottom of your priority list. It's still watchable, though. You can check it out, but that's just how I feel about it. Matt, how do you feel about it again?
I liked it.
Right.
I liked it. I felt that there's jump scares, but they never it never got to a point where like a lot of the jump scares and a lot of stuff I watch just inherently pissed me off.
Yeah.
I did enjoy it, and I think the like Tom was saying, the world building stuff is really interesting. Like the idea of the fervor is quite interesting, and
it's just neat.
I like the idea that there's just people that can just go there temporarily almost and just walk around, and they just think they're dreaming. I like the ideas in it. I do want to watch the second one, but it's one of those things where it's like, but if I watch it, will it actually spoil things? And that's the only thing that does worry me. But I'm gonna watch it anyway.
I feel it won't spoil things on the whole for you. So I would go ahead and watch it. And to sum up, I feel like if you have a real problem with this movie, say you're watching the first 5-10 minutes and you're just like, oh, this is dragging, oh, this is going on forever. Find out wherever it is in the movie that the investigators come in. Basically, read the first 2 episodes of the synopsis that say the kid gets in a coma and what have you, and then skip to the 40-minute mark or whatever it is. And you probably won't miss too much.
You won't miss a thing.
It is worth it for that. You'll miss some really nice cinematography of an empty house. Basically.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
Yes.
You'll miss asking yourself the question of how this man affords this house, and then another house immediately.
On his teacher's salary. The only answer is he stays overnight every night marking grade papers.
I have to say, because I do very much, despite making the jokes about Chris Pratt and Patrick Wilson, I do really like Patrick Wilson as an actor. I always think he's really solid.
I do too.
Yeah.
I really liked that even after he successfully astral projects, he still seems inherently pissed off that it's actually happening. Like, there's one moment where he just kind of sighs. He's like, fuck.
Yeah.
It's like, it's actually happening. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, like when he gets up and he's like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't know what I'm supposed to feel. And he turns around and he sees himself in the chair. And he realizes that, it worked. And you only see Elise, which I thought that was a really good scene. You only see Elise, and she's like looking over her shoulder at him because she knows that he just projected. And it's like, okay, that was a cool scene. Let's see where this goes. I'm actually interested in seeing this movie now. I can't wait to see what happens next. So, but it's a shame it took 45 minutes to get there.
That's a fair comment.
Yeah.
Okay, well, based on that then, Chris, where do you think we should go to next in terms of...
America!
Good old America.
Specifically out in the woods, somewhere in a a busted up old cabin. A good vacation home, perhaps, for 2 people named Tucker and Dale to fight evil.
Oh, excellent. That's a really good choice.
I actually really need to see it.
I wanted to...
I've not seen it.
I wanted to bring it up because, one, it's like you guys are English and I'm American, so I feel like, hey, watch something from where I'm at. But also because I've seen it once and I don't remember any of it. It seems like a tragedy more than a comedy from my memory. But everyone else seems to think it's really, really funny. And I'm
I've seen it once, and it's very funny.
Yeah. I mean, I saw it once too, and there are points where I remember laughing. I just don't remember what the scenes were. For the most part, it's just like this one huge misunderstanding that just snowballs to hellish proportions, and I feel bad for everyone involved because I'm just like empathizing with all these people. But so maybe I'll see it. No, we will see it again, and then I'll have a better judgment of whether it was actually funny or tragic or not. And also, you'll see it.
Sounds fun.
So.
It'll make a change as well, because although it is horror based, it's based in tropes of horror movies, and it derives its humor from the fact that it turns those on its head. It's also fun, so yeah, it's just a good fun time.
Yeah. So with that, check out whatever Matt was just about to say. Sorry.
I can't remember.
Okay, wasn't important. Check out Tucker and Dale versus Evil. It's on Netflix, or you can pay to rent it on Amazon in America. But you can watch it with your Netflix subscription right now. So
do it.
Nice. Okay, well, all that remains to be said is thank you for listening. Thank you for going on this trip with us through Insidious and lots of other weird shit we talked about earlier.
It sucked. Sorry.
Basically, the temperature of the United Kingdom at this point in time.
Yes.
Which tends to actually be a feature on quite a few of our podcasts now. We talk about the weather a lot.
How's the weather?
Well, it's frightfully awful. First it was too cold, and now it's too hot.
It's never perfect.
Oh my god, yes.
Oops.
That's Chris's first English accent on the podcast.
I was saying, well, Christopher Walken. It's not perfect. It's a bit rubbish.
Yeah, that
It was
slipped
cold.
out. That slipped out. That was unintentional.
Well, if
Anyway,
it gets
thank
any
you all
warmer,
for
I'm just going to go
listening.
live in our fridge until next time. But it just suffices to be said that Matt, you have a YouTube channel?
Yes, the warp pipe that is lost in the warp pipe.
The warp pipe, don't know where it is.
It's just got.
There's a link in the links, and with the link you can link. So yeah, excellent.
link me to
Chris,
the
you've got a YouTube channel?
Yes, and as soon as my job releases its stranglehold on my neck, I will point back to it. I'll be putting up some Heavenly Sword and also the infectious madness of Dr. Decker, which I may be talking about next time.
Ooh, okay. I've never heard those collection of words together before, so
Okay, well, you're in for a treat then.
nice. Okay, and everyone can go to there's nothing dark gazing at the moment, so you can always go there and just subscribe ready for when stuff does go up, which will be soon-ish. But I've also started streaming on my other channel, which is it's my name. There'll be a link in the description below. I just decided, because the podcast is going so well, I'm really happy the way it's turned out. And that was basically, I turned to you guys and I said, let's make a podcast, because I will always be talking about doing a podcast unless we actually just start and do it.
Correct, yes.
And we've landed on our feet, so I thought I'd just start streaming no matter what the game, doesn't matter, just get something started so that I can get used to streaming. So
Yep, you got to find yourself.
So there will be fairly regular-ish streams. I'm guessing at least once a month, if not, hopefully at least twice a month. I'm going to be streaming games just on the regular so that I can keep my foot in that and improve. So there'll be a link below to the stream that I did. I think it was last night, which was
Boomerang
I did a game
Kid.
called Boomerang Kid. Yeah, which is
Boring.
yeah, it's a bit of a boring game. It's steeped in nostalgia for me. It's also balls hard.
Yeah.
So you can watch me playing that for about 2 hours and failing and not actually getting any further than the second set of levels. But it was a fun time, and yeah, I'm getting used to streaming, so you can find me there. And that's it. Yeah, all that remains to be said is stay beautiful, stay damned, stay enjoying the podcast, and we'll see you next time.
Most importantly, just stay.
Yeah, stay alive.
Stay.
Stay where you are right now.
Don't go nowhere.
Wait until next week.
Yes, wait until we return with the next episode.
Yeah, just sit right there for a solid 7 days.
Actually, no, just hold still. I'm loading my memory gun.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Excellent.
Bye.
This episode of Spoilers of the Damned was hosted by Axton10_61, Madcus Finch, and Garlips. To find out about us, as well as join the discussion on our Discord, check out all the links in the description below. Please feel free to leave a review or rate us on your podcast app of choice.